Good morning, all you cool cats and kittens out there. Time for some math. So today we are going to do multiplying fractions. We're actually going to start with multiplying fractions because it's way easier than adding and subtracting fractions. So our objective today is over here. Try and get my pen to work. I can multiply fractions and mix numbers. We are going to start by watching this video, so pause if you need to write down your objective. This is lesson 4.1 today, but this isn't right. We're multiplying. Multiplying fractions. Okay, so we're going to start with this video, Math Antics. I'm going to make him nice and big. This is a great teacher. If you ever need to YouTube anything, Math Antics is a great way to go.
It's really easy. No, not juggling fractions. Although that is pretty easy for me. I'm talking about something even easier than that. I'm talking about multiplying fractions. Multiplying fractions is super easy. In fact, it's easier than adding fractions. That's why we're going to learn it first. The reason it's easier is because fractions are really just division numbers. And multiplication and division get around much better than addition. Now, since fractions are division, that means we multiply 1/4 times 2/3. That's the same as the problem 1 divided by 2 times 2 divided by 3. That means I have both multiplication and division in the same problem. And because we've been opposite, that means I can just rewrite the problem to look like this. Now it looks like two multiplication problems that are being added, and it looks just like a fraction. In fact, if we go ahead and do the multiplications, 1 times 2 is 2, and 4 times 3 is 12, and we do have a fraction, and it's the answer to our problem. So what does all this mean? Well, it means that to multiply fractions, all you have to do is multiply the top numbers, and you multiply the bottom numbers to that. There's your answer. As always, let's see an example or two. Let's try this problem. 2 thirds times 1 fourth. Now, we could rewrite the problem like we just said, but that's not necessary as long as we remember the procedure. First, we know our answer is going to be a fraction, so let's go ahead and write the fraction. Next, we multiply the top numbers. 2 times 5 is 8, so 8's the top number of the answer. And next, we multiply the bottom numbers. 3 times 5 is 15, so 15 is the bottom number of the answer. There we have it. 2 over 3 times 4 over 5 equals 8 over 15. See how easy that was? I'm fun too. Even funner than video.
Okay, so we are going to multiply fractions today. And just like how this guy said, it's literally that easy. Okay, friends? Well, I'm in my own way here. So there are two ways that we can multiply fractions. First way is just by what he just did. We multiply the top straight across. 1 times 3 equals 3. And then multiply the bottom. 3 times 5 equals 15. Now, we have to make sure that our fractions are always in simplest form. We do this by finding the greatest common factor between 3 and 15. I know my factors for 3 are 1 and 3, and I know that 3 can go into 15. So in order to find my simplest form, I'm actually going to divide the top and the bottom by 3. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. 15 divided by 3 is 5. So I get my answer is 1/5. The second way to do this is what we call, I'm going to move it up here, cross-simplifying. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to look at our opposites, okay? The ones that are across from each other. And we want to see, do they have any common factors that we can make them smaller? So if I look at 1 and 5, I say, okay, they don't have any common factors. They're already as small as they can get. But then I'm going to look the other way and I see I have 3 and 3. Now they do have a common factor. They're the same number, so 3 can go into both of them. So if I divide 3 divided by 3, I get 1. 3 divided by 3 is 1. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply my new numbers. So 1 times 1 is 1, and 1 times 5 is 5. So both ways here, I got 1/5. If you go up to the front table, you will have a foldable. Okay, this foldable needs to be, I'll take a quick second in class and probably teach you how to fold this, but you need to go get your foldable. And we're going to fill out how to multiply fractions. So the first thing that we always do is we do not get common denominators. They're fine. If they are fractions, we don't have to do anything with them. Okay, we always cross simplify if possible. This makes our math and our getting the lowest factor the easiest. So I'm going to cross simplify. So I'm going to look at 4 and 6 and I'm going to see, do they have a common factor? Yes. I know that 2 goes into both of them. So I'm going to divide. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Now I'm going to look this way. 3 and 15. Does 3 and 15 have a common factor? Yes. 3 goes into both of them. So I'm going to divide. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 15 divided by 3 is 5. Then we multiply the numerator by the numerator. So the numerator, remember your numerators are always the ones on top. 1 times 3 is 3. And then we multiply the denominator by the denominator. Remember your denominator is bottom. 2 times 5 is 10. We always want to make sure we simplify if possible. If we've cross-simplified in the beginning, most times we don't need to simplify at the end. However, there are still some times when we do need to simplify. So we always have to double check. So I say, does 3 and 10 have any common factors? No. So it's the lowest it can get. And so 3 over 10 is my answer, or 3/10. The next thing we're going to talk about is multiplying mixed numbers. So mixed numbers is when we have a whole number and a fraction. Now, we still do not get common denominators. Okay, we don't need common denominators. We're going to leave our denominators the same. However, we do need to change to improper fractions. And so what that means is that we're going to convert this, and so it just looks like a fraction. We need to get rid of our whole number. So quickly, I want to show you what that looks like. If I have 2 and 4/5, and I need to change this into just a fraction, I need to get rid of this whole number. What this looks like is, because this 2, if this was a pizza, right, I would have 2 whole pizzas, and then I have 4/5 of a third pizza. So I'm going to try my hardest to turn this into fifths. Hey, that wasn't bad. And I don't have this piece. Maybe I should color the ones I do have. That makes more sense. So I have 4/5 of this pizza, right? So I have 2 whole pizzas over here, but if this one's cut into fifths, that means that this guy is also going to be cut into fifths. And so is this guy. And so what it means is, because I have all of them, I have 5/5, or a whole. Remember, anything over itself is equal to 1. So I have 5/5 of a pizza here, 5/5 of a pizza here, and 4/5 of a pizza here. So to turn this into an improper fraction, I want to count how many pieces do I have total. And remember, that denominator is telling me how many they're cut into. All 3 of my pizzas are cut into fifths, so that 5 stays on the bottom here. So I have 5, 10, 11, 12, 13. I have 14 pieces of pizza, and they're cut into fifths. So 2 and 4/5 is the same as 14 over 5 as an improper fraction. We can do this easier. This is our little cheat way. okay, by doing what I like to call is a cartwheel. So I start at the bottom and I cartwheel it around. And what we're going to do is we're going to multiply the denominator by our whole number. So 5 times 2 is 10. And then we're going to add our numerator. So 5 times 2 is 10 plus 4 is 14. And that, if we see here, our cartwheel ends on the top. And then our denominator always stays the same. So I got the same thing both ways here. This is how it works, and this is kind of what you're actually doing. So if we go back here, we have to turn these into improper fractions. So we already did this one. I'll show you again. We're going to do a cartwheel. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 4 is 14, over 5, multiplied by cartwheel here. 7 times 3 is 21, plus 4 is 25 over 7. So we've got our improper fractions, okay? This is kind of our step number 1 here. Step 2 is to cross simplify if possible. Oops. We want to cross simplify. So we can cross simplify here. I look at 7 and 14. Do they have any common factors? Okay, I know 7 can go into 7 and 7 can go into 14. So I'm going to divide by 7. 14 divided by 7 is 2. 7 divided by 7 is 1. Now I look the opposite way, 5 and 25. I know that 5 can go into 5 and into 25. So 5 divided by 5 is 1. 25 divided by 5 is 5. Now this makes my multiplication so much easier. I'd much rather do 2 times 5 than 14 times 25. Ugh. So now we just, step 3 here would be multiply the numerator by the numerator and then multiply the denominator by the denominator. So we multiply the top by the top and the bottom by the bottom. So 2 times 5 is 10 and 1 times 1 is 1. Now simplify if possible. I can simplify this. It's not normally, this isn't the way that it normally looks, but any number over 1 is the numerator as a whole number. So this is a whole number. All whole numbers can be written as a fraction over 1, because this just means that if we had 10 pizzas and they had one piece, like one piece of the pizza would be the entire pizza. So I have 10 whole pizzas here. Okay, so that is how we multiply mixed numbers. I want you to pause your video and try this one on your own. Okay, I like to start with cross simplifying. I think it's way easier. So 2 and 7 have no common factors, so they have to stay the same. 6 and 3 have a common factor. Their common factor is 3. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. 6 divided by 3 is 2. Then I multiply. 2 times 2 is 4. 7 times 1 is 7. And I check. Do 4 and 7 have any common factors? Nope. So we're done. All right. So here I have mixed numbers. So remember, if we have mixed numbers, our first step is to get them to be improper fractions. So go ahead and pause your video and try this problem. Okay, so I'm going to turn this into a improper fraction by doing a cartwheel. 10 times 3 is 30, plus 7 is 37 over 10, times, now 7 is a whole number. It still has to be an improper fraction. So an improper fraction here would be, if this is a whole number, remember all whole numbers can be a fraction if we put them over 1. So I'm just going to put 7 over 1 here. Now I want to check, can I cross simplify? 30 and 7 and 1 don't have any common factors that would make them smaller. 7 and 10 don't have any common factors, so they're actually as small as they're going to get. So I know that 10 times 1 is 10. That one is easy. 37 times 7 is something that I'm probably going to have to scratch out over here. 7 times 7 is 49. 7 times 3 is 21, plus 4 is 25. So I get 259. Now, here, I can simplify this. If it is an improper fraction, meaning that the top is bigger than the bottom, we have to simplify. So we do this by dividing. So 259 divided by 10. Remember that this fraction bar means division, so it's literally just the top divided by the bottom. So your top goes in the house, your bottom goes outside. 10 goes into 25 2 times. I bring down my 9. 10 goes into 59 5 times. And 9 is my remainder. Okay, so this is a really fun part right here. I don't know why, but I really like it. So I'm going to move, I'm going to move this guy out of my way here and kind of recenter this, because I want to show you this. So, oops. Oh my gosh. Okay, 25 is now my whole number. So this is equal to 25. My denominator always stays the same. And then my remainder, 9, becomes my numerator. So if I divide 10 goes into 259 25 whole times with 9 left over, and that becomes my fraction. Okay, try this one on your own. Pause your video. Okay, so I have to start by doing 14 over 1. Okay, I might rewrite this 14 over 1 times 1 over 4. Now I have improper fractions. Now I can divide, cross simplify here. Ones are already as small as they're going to get. 14 and 4 have a common factor. Their common factor is 2. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. 14 divided by 2 is 7. I multiply. 7 times 1 is 7. 1 times 2 is 2. Now I do have to simplify. I have to divide. 7 divided by 2. So I know 7 divided by 2 would be 3 here. 3 times 2 is 6, and I'd get a remainder of 1. So this would equal 3 would be my whole number. 1 is my numerator, and my denominator stays the same. So I get 3 and 1/2. When, we don't want to do that one. That's not your homework. When we have story problems, we want to make sure that we know what we're doing. Are we multiplying? Are we adding, subtracting, dividing? So when we read through this, Marianne buys 16 bags of potting soil that comes in 5/8 pound bags. How many pounds of potting soil does Marianne buy? So she has 16 bags. Okay, so 16 bags, and then each bag is 5/8 of a pound. So we want to multiply this. We'd put that over 1. Because if I were to draw out the 16 pounds and she had 5/8 of them, I could add 5/8 16 times, but that's just ridiculous. Nobody wants to add 5/8 16 times. So our shortcut would be multiplication. So when we multiply this, we check 5 and 1 have no common factor, so they stay 5 and 1. 8 and 16 can be divided by 8. 8 divided by 8 is 1. 16 divided by 8 is 2. So 5 times 2 is 10 over 1. And remember, anything over 1 is just a whole number. So she buys 10 pounds of potting soil. Okay, your homework is not this. So don't write this down. Your homework is, and I have to look it up because I forgot to write it down. So we're going to go to my lesson plans. And remember, everybody can get on my lesson plans by going to glasgow.k12.mt.us and then going to the teacher websites, clicking on my name and clicking on my lesson plans. So this is your assignment, 1 through 10 all, 20 and 21. So we will write that down here. It is 1 through 10 all, 20 and 21. So we have to do 1 through 10 all of the problems. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then we're switching to 20 and 21. All righty, good work.